Section 5.1, number 11. So we need to write a word problem for a multiplication of fractions and use your word problem and math drawing to explain why it makes sense to multiply straight across. And so this is a little similar to the previous problem, but this time, notice in number 2, both numerators are 1, but in this case, the numerators are not equal to 1 anymore. Okay, but the way we do it would be very similar. So you could use the same example as we did here. You know, got a portion of the cake, but he only ate a portion of the portion, and then how much of the cake did he eat? You can also use the same type of question, but here I use a different type of word problems. So again, when you give your students word problems to do, you probably want to try different contexts. So 1 serving is 3 quarter cups or cup. How many cups is 2/3 of a serving? So how do you come up with a word problem? How do we know which one is a cup, which one is a serving? So make sure you remember the definition of multiplication. The first one means the number of groups. And the second number, even though they are not whole numbers, the definition doesn't change. So it's still going to mean the number of units in one group. Okay, so you will have to decide what will be your group. So for example, your group can be a serving, and so number of servings, and 1 serving, what do you want to have? 1 serving, either cups or drink, liters, or any kind of measuring units you want to use. So here I use the cups or cup, and technically we should say 4/3 cup, which means 3/4 of a cup, but usually we just say 3/4 cup. So the question, now you can use the information here to come up with the question. So 1 serving is this number, 2/7. Oh, looks like I actually had it backwards. So I should say 1 serving is 2/7. Oh, wait, no, that's all right, because I actually had it backwards. So the second, this 1 serving right here. So 1 serving, well, let me add it, number of cups. So we have 3/4 cups in 1 serving. Or you could say 1 serving is 3/4 cup. And then how many servings? So you could say I ate, again, the first number is the number of servings, and I had 2/7 of a serving. And how many cups are that? Or you can just say how many cups is 2/7 of a serving. And remember, 1 serving here is equal to 3/4 cup. So we're literally doing 2/7 of 3/4, which is the multiplication. Okay, so and that's the word problem. Then now we're going to use the join to explain that. Again, make sure you start with the second number, 3/4, because I noticed in the grading of the bonus, some students started with the first number. So again, we're doing 2/7 of 3/4. Oh, I actually already have it here. So you need to start with 3. How do you get 2/7 of 3/4? You have to have 3/4. So that's why we first did a 3/4. Start with the second number. So I take the whole, the square, and divide it into 4 equal parts. This time I did it in rows. You can start with columns if you want. And so I have 4 rows. And then I highlighted 3 of them because we took 3 parts. So it's 3 out of, maybe I should label it the other way so we can see. So we have 3 out of 4. And when we take 2/7 of 3/4, notice we was only going to divide the yellow part, but we always wanted to extend the line. So technically we're only dividing the yellow parts into 7 equal parts, and one, let's do one, maybe backwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 1, 2, 3. And so we divide into 7 columns, and I shaded 2 columns, the first 2 columns here, and because we have 2 out of 7 columns, 2 columns out of 7 columns. So the green part, where I'm gonna shade that, so that is the final answer. And notice the final answer has how many parts here? Notice that we have and two columns and the 3 rows. So the answer should be 2 times 3 or 3 times 2. And notice, see, that's 2 times 3 here. And compared to the entire cake or entire serving, and which has, notice we have 7 columns and 4, 5, 6, 7 columns, and then 4 rows. So it's going to be 7 times 4, which is the total number of parts in the whole. So what we got is 2 columns, 3 rows. That's what we got. That's what we received, or ate, or eat in this case. I'm going to just put a receive. And the bottom is the compared to the entire whole. I'm sorry, actually it's not 1 serving, it's 1 cup. Compared to the entire cup. So we started with the whole 1 cup, and we first draw 3/4 cup, and then we take a portion of the 3/4 cup. We ended up with 6, I guess, whatever that is. So it's going to be 6 out of 28. So 6 parts out of a total 28 parts. So 6/28 of a cup. And to explain why we multiply them, I already kind of explained, but to put them in words, you will say, okay, the denominator 28 comes from 4 times 7. Why 4 times 7? Because for the first fraction, we had horizontal parts or cuts, and then for the second fraction, 2/7, so we had vertical parts or columns. You can say rows and columns. So that in order to figure out the total number of parts in the whole, and we have to count the total number of rows and total number of columns. So that's the bottom, then the denominator. So total number of, so we have 4 rows times 7 columns, which gives us 7 times 4, that's 28. So 28, the denominator 28 comes from 4 times 7 comes from dividing a whole into 4 rows and 7 columns. And then how many did we eat? Well, what is 2/7 of a serving? How many cups? So it's going to be 6 parts, the one shaded here. Why? Again, although we have 4 rows, we only took 3 rows. So that's 3. Although we have 7 columns, we only got 2 columns. So 3 times 2, which gives us 6 columns from dividing the yellow part, shaded parts into 3 rows and 2 columns. So the answer is 6 parts out of 20 parts. So make sure you explain why you multiply 4 times 7 and why you multiply 2 times 3 from the drawing, because we are trying to figure out the number of parts we have compared to the number of parts in the whole and to get the answer.